What is up, everybody? Welcome to Travis and Vic's Drunken Horror Adventures. I'm Travis. I'm rolling solo from a car. I just visited Baxter Avenue Movie Theater for the last time in a while, I'd say. And the only reason is, and again, this is no knock on the theater before I even get started. The reason is that when I would go to this theater, it would be with Movie Pass. Well, Movie Pass has so limited their movies lately that I had gotten to the point where I finally fucking canceled. Took a long time, but I had to do it. I was tired of spending $10 a month and trying to find a movie, that was worth seeing. And it's hard to do because the theaters that play movies that are available on Movie Pass whatsoever. Now, there's ways to cheat the system. Is across town, so I'd have to go across town, go out of my way to watch a movie that's difficult to even get on the app. So anyway, it's just a pain in the ass. But I saw Suspiria 2018 gets a 7.2 on IMDb. It is, of course, a remake of the Dario Argento cult classic. I could call it a classic, but I feel like a lot of people have never seen Suspiria. In fact, I didn't see it until I was older. Last time I saw it was about 2 years ago, and I really never got myself invested in it. So I won't really be comparing this movie so much to the original. I'm just going to let it stand on its own. And again, for anybody who did not read the description, I'm going to do my absolute best not to spoil this movie. For those of you that still want to see it without spoilers, and maybe you've never seen the original, and again, I'm not sure how close to the original this is. So again, this is a movie that's going to stand on its own as far as my opinions on it. Stars Dakota Johnson, and I was like, who the hell is Dakota Johnson? Because she looked damn good in this movie. I had to do a little research, but I figured out Dakota Johnson is like in 50 Shades of Grey. Makes sense. She looks okay in those movies. I saw the first one with my wife, or kind of half watched the first one. She looks okay in that. She was also in Bad Times at the El Royale, and she did not show as much skin as she was nice enough to show in this movie. God damn, did she look good with red hair in this movie. She was looking good. Chloe Grace Moretz, who might as well not even have been her. She was playing a pretty short role, small role, and it barely looked like her, to be honest with you. It took me a minute to realize it was her. There's some other known actors, but, nobody to write home about as far as that goes. Now, this takes place 1977, I believe, and, it takes place in Germany, and there's still the after effects being felt from World War II in this movie. Obviously, this is post-war from World War II. But Germany is now a split nation. You've got East Germany, you've got West Germany, Berlin Wall in between. So still a lot of strife going on in Germany, and that's kind of the backdrop of this movie. You've got all these different things going on with hostages and an airplane that had been hijacked, and so that's kind of the background of the story. But the story itself, of course, is about a dance group. I don't know how else to call it. It's like a dance group. It's not ballet. It's just some sort of famous dance group. And, you've got all these different young women in this dance group. And basically, the story revolves around them and a witch coven. So kind of a little, touchback to our Salem Witch Trials episode, real life. Not so much witches, but you get my point. So in this movie, I totally got the vibe of where Lords of Salem was trying to do and completely miserably failed. Rob Zombie was going for a Suspiria feel to Lords of Salem. He completely failed in Lords of Salem, but how did this one measure up as far as movies like this go? Well, first off, it's over 2.5 hours. It's 2 hours, 32 minutes. That is a long horror movie. Just my opinion, I was able to sit there, not take a bathroom break, sit there through the whole thing. And, for what it's worth, I enjoyed it. It was worth my time. It's not something that I would rush to see again. It's one of those movies that I just don't get. Not to say that I didn't understand what was going on or anything like that. It's just not the type of thing that like really, really piques my interest. It's weird for the sake of weird. And while there's nothing wrong with that, you got to have the good conclusion. You got to have the good ending. And where Lords of Salem failed, this one actually did an okay job. The ending was a hell of a lot better than what we got in Lords of Salem. Again, I hate to compare it to that, but again, it was weird for the sake of weird. But if you'd like me to compare it to something good, I can compare it to The Shining. The Shining had a great ending. I completely, at least on some level, understood the ending. I mean, as much as you can understand. There's some question marks in both movies, but you see my point. It's one of those that has an ending that's not just like, wow, I just didn't waste fucking 2 hours of my life. But again, movie is very long, so if you're not willing to sit down and watch a movie and invest your time for 2.5 hours, this is not the movie for you. Unfortunately, it didn't get a wide release, or it has not yet, so I had to go to kind of the independent movie theater in our area, again, Baxter Avenue Theaters, Louisville, Kentucky, and watch it, which is sad because AMC, which I'm an A-list member, as I mentioned before, AMC Stubs, it's sad because AMC plays a lot of independent movies. In fact, one of the movies that I'll probably touch on at some point down the road, not, an entire show on it, is Bullitt County. Bullitt County is a county in my state, so I decided, okay, I'll check out that movie with my A-list membership, and it was well worth it as well. But, Suspiria has not come to our AMC yet, which I find strange considering some of the movies we got, like Silencio, which I went to watch, and I got 45 minutes through it, and I said, fuck this is terrible. So, there's a lot of independent movies out there that are being featured at AMC, but this is not one of them yet. I don't want to turn this into a movie theater discussion, but as I did see this at the movie theater, I will say Baxter Avenue, as far as comfort, one of the best in the city. You put it right up there with Escape Theaters. They have the absolute best comfort. Probably Baxter Avenue second, Cinemark third. Cinemark just put in heated seats that recline, but they don't recline as much as these Baxter Avenue or Escape seats, so they sit right behind them. Movie theater is fucking cold today, for the record. Did not even bring anything in. But tonight I'm going to see Bohemian Rhapsody at AMC with the wife. So we're going to check that out together. I've got a free ticket from... Get this, guys. So I went... The second time I went to watch the new Halloween from 2018. Obviously, I've got the rundown of that one on this very network. But I went to check it out again. I get about halfway through the movie, and the movie pauses, and a theater representative comes in and says, hey, the theater's on lockdown. There's an active shooter situation across the street at Kroger. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is there a shooter at Kroger? Now, that's a story for another day, but it took so long, which obviously wasn't the theater's fault. I just asked them for a rain check, get a pass for another day. And, I could use it on any other movie. Let me just say, I got to see Halloween 3 more times after that, so I don't feel like I missed out on anything. And tonight we're going to use the free pass on my wife. Obviously, I don't have to pay anything because it's part of my membership. So I'll watch Bohemian Rhapsody tonight, and we'll just see what comes of it. But again, bittersweet to watch Suspiria, and it's my last movie pass check-in unless something drastically changes and I decide to not cancel the account. I've already hit cancel, and I said, fuck it. Sat here through the end of the month, and here we are. But yeah, just not thrilled with their service. Done with it. I'm just tired of all the bullshit, and I'm just happy with AMC. So that's what I'll be doing going forward. Now, I guess I have not given my rating yet. 7.2 on IMDb feels a little generous to me. Not to say that this was a bad movie. It's just not so much my cup of tea. It doesn't mean it's bad either, though. When I say it's not my cup of tea, it doesn't mean I dislike it either. I feel like I give this rating a lot. There was a point in this movie where it's hovering around a 2.5 or a 2.75, but I feel like the ending kind of delivered. One thing I will say about the ending is there was a shitload of CGI, but before that, there was also a lot of practical effects that I enjoyed. So, I mean, they had a big finish. So the CGI was kind of necessary, especially in 2018. So I won't get too far after them for that. For the story Story is fucking weird, but I guess it was enjoyable. It was shot kind of like, I don't know, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Devil's Rejects. It was very gritty and grimy, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. It's not very polished, which was fun. The acting was fine. All the weird shit was cool. You got a lot of tits in the movie. You can't complain about that as a male who loves women. Unfortunately, we got some disgusting male nudity too. Now look, ladies, you know, there's nothing wrong with you wanting male nudity, but this movie is not the movie for you because it's not exactly the type that you're going to be excited about. But all that being said, I give the movie 3 out of 4 machetes. I know I do that a lot, but I mean, it's worth watching. It's just not something I'm going to revisit very much. So I enjoyed it. How does it stack up against the classic Suspiria? You're going to want to ask somebody else that question. But it was good, and it's not a waste of a remake like Poltergeist or Prom Night or Black Xmas. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it certainly has its place as far as remakes go. It's not as good as some of the best, but it's way better than the worst. So that's all I've got for this week. This episode. So if you get the opportunity, and certainly if you have any kind of membership, whether it's MoviePass, whether it's A-List, whether it's Cinemia, I really recommend that you do go use this to go see it, especially, you know, if you're kind of like, on some of the movies coming out right now. I'm going to go see Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm not exactly like, it's not at the top of my list. A Star is Born's out. I haven't seen that, and I don't really care to. It's not my thing. Not a lot of horror out right now, so if you get the opportunity, you should see Suspiria. Get a $5 Tuesday, worth it. So that's all I've got. You can email us tnvhorror@gmail.com. Again, I'm driving right now, so if the quality sucks, I apologize. Our website, which, you know, I only say it every fucking week, I need to update, travinvickhorror.wordpress.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, I think at travinvickhorror on both of those. Where you'll want to communicate with me, what I use the most is at phenomenaltld. Our Facebook page gets a lot of traffic these days. It's facebook.com/Travis and Vic Horror, or you can just look up Travis and Vic's Drunken Horror Adventures. We'll pop up. Got almost 3,000 likes now, so things are going well on the page. We post all sorts of fun memes and stuff like that. People enjoy it, so it's not just for the podcast, people. Give us a like. But that's all I've got this week. I believe we will return as a full cast. Me, Blake, and Vic. Lord willing, and I'm not religious, man, but I'm just throwing it out. Lord willing, that Vic doesn't have to work at night. Tuesday, I think November 20th, we'll be covering the top 10 horror movies of 1986, which I have a feeling is going to suck. And I don't mean that the movies suck. I mean, it's going to be really hard to rank them. So, got any thoughts? Again, hit us up however you need to, and we will get back to you, or we'll cuss you out, or we'll let you cuss us out, or whatever the case may be. But that is it. And yes, I'm sober for now. And it's sad, but I'll be back and getting drunk soon enough. Alright, everybody. You have a great night. Later.